Boys will be boys is one of the most ridiculous phrases ever, and today it made my mama bear come out. So quick story time. I take my daughter to this outdoor grassy area at an outdoor mall, and it's like a park, but there's no actual park things. Instead, they have like Connect Four, like giant Connect Fours, and they've got like blankets, and they've got like little foam things you can move around to build stuff, and it's awesome. There were and it's like a big splash pad, so there was like 30 to 40 kids there. There were a lot. It's spring break. My daughter is 4, almost 5. She's also on the spectrum. And she is excited. She runs up to the first group and is like, "Do you want to be my friends?" And they're like, "No." Totally cool. She moves on. She finds some other friends. This older group that said no to her were mostly kids looking like between 10 and like 11 or 9 and 11. So they're definitely much older. I get them saying no. That was fine. The problem was, then this group seemed to start targeting her and any of her friends that she decided to play with. So she makes buddies with these other little girls and these other little kids, and they find this fort that's been built. Nobody is around. I told her, I was like, "Hey, wait a few minutes, wait till a grown-up says you can play in there. I don't know who built it." So she gets the okay. Her and her friends climb in it. Then this group comes and literally tears it down on top of them. And my daughter's upset. I'm like, "You know what? Maybe they built it. We're not going to stress it. Just go find some other things to play with." Every single thing they moved around to start playing with, this group of kids, specifically the boys, the girls ended up kind of leaving and wandering off as the boys started doing this. They started coming up and taking every single toy that my kid was trying to play with. So finally, Cassie goes up, my daughter goes up, and she's like, "Hey, can you stop? That was mine. I want it back." And like one of the like 11-year-old boys gets down, hands on his knees, eyes to eyes with her, and starts yelling at her. So no, I get up, I go over there. I'm like, "No, you may not talk to my daughter like that. Cassie, come on, let's remove ourselves from this. We will let them play with their thing. Let's go find something else to play with." So she goes and finds more stuff to play with. And as this is happening, the boys, like I go to the side because all the parents are sitting on the sides and watching, and I can hear everything, I can see everything, and these kids start standing there and taking the toys to go build another fort, as like the big foam things that my daughter's trying to play with, and they're literally taking the ones she is standing on and these kids are standing on. So I'm like, "No, this is not happening." I go over there and I go sit down with the girls, because at the time it was just like this little group of girls. It ended up being a group of a whole bunch of other kids. They kind of came to this little safe zone, but they were building obstacle courses with it, and they only had like 7 pieces left out of everything there. And I was like, "No, I'm sorry. This is theirs. You have everything else in this entire play area. You may go play with those. You may not have these." And I put down my foot. I was nice, but I put down my foot and I sat there and I let the kids play. And the kids these older kids decided to come and stand there and start yelling at the kids. "Hey, when are you leaving? Are you done?" Like, no. Not okay. They decided to try and harass the kids, including my daughter, and they were targeting my daughter a lot. They were bringing, like, the foam things they had already taken, bringing them over, going, "Hey, you can play with this." They would add it to the thing, and then they would come back and go, "No, I actually want it back," over and over and over again. And I finally told the kids, "No, if they bring over stuff, don't play with it. Leave it, set it aside, don't let them win. If you decide to play with it, they take it back, you're upset, they win. It's not worth it." So we're sitting there this whole time, and I'm like getting frustrated, but I'm like, "No, my daughter's having fun with these kids. I'm just gonna sit here and I will make this a safe space," and it was letting other kids come and play. Well then, who I'm guessing is the dad, he looked an awful lot like 3 of the boys, and remember, these boys are all older. This dad comes up and goes, "Yeah, boys will be boys, right? Just try not to let your little girl keep being a crybaby." I may have stared him down and said, "Oh, really? Maybe try to let your boys learn how to not be bullies, because this wouldn't be a problem if they would learn that." The dude sat there and just stared at me, and I stared him down, and he was like, "You can't talk to me like that." I'm like, "Dude, I am an author. My entire career is based on putting money, time, and my heart and like me into things for people to judge. I am more scared of book talk than I am of a manly man who thinks that boys will be boys is still acceptable. No. Like, I stayed there out of spite, like almost shaking. I was so angry. I stayed there for a while out of spite. We finally like left because I needed to get out, and we went to the rec center, and I worked out for 90 minutes to get this out, and you can still see I'm still worked up because that's total BS. That's so stupid. I will say, though, it was very gratifying seeing the look on the boys' faces because I was getting the impression they have never seen a woman stand up to this guy before. And I mean, I get it. He's a big, manly man. But again, I'm more scared of book talk than I am a manly man. I'm 35. I have been to hell and back. Some guy deciding that he's going to let his boys bully my daughter is not going to scare me.